It is the 5th of Mythame of Samrod. The skies have been clear recently. And in fact, it's been rather dry. The increase in heat outside has dried the earth. And there are light winds stirring outside in the night. This is the night before your perhaps last trip into the first level of Rappan Athuk. And you have all gathered tonight at, well, you could still choose. I'll say that, let me find her. Your contact, hold on just a second, let me bring this up. Elish, the other magic user has left, but Elish has remained in Zelkor's Ferry. And she can meet you at either the Hound's Lodge or the Bristleback Inn. And as usual, the patrons of both are quite different. You'll get the benefits of the Hound's Lodge either way. Which would you choose, Magnus?
I think Hound's Lodge would be best because I would like to keep what we talk about somewhat contained to more trustworthy ears.
Okay. There are people there drinking tonight that are people you haven't met, but that's what we're going to go with. Elish is here with you. You've agreed to meet her here tonight. But before we chat with her, and Yuba and Magnus, and I hope it's okay, I would like to include everybody else in this gameplay. So, I do like secrets, but this is something where I'm okay with the other characters knowing your secrets if that's okay.
Fine. No. I want to discuss it with the members of the Hounds because it's part of the unified effort of build up and defense of the whole place.
Right. So
and on a practical level, I need their trust. I can't. I need their trust, and I need their sword arms.
Last week, an effigy was formed of the deceased Gerald Faria and placed somehow, and no one knows where it came from. No fairy has come in the past several days. It has been peaceful since your return on your last adventure. In fact, it's a peaceful night outside. The inside of the Hound's Lodge, someone has come, and they will actually approach you directly here in a moment. You can see that it's clear they have weapons and armor. It's what they're here to do. And they came to the lodge because they've heard of your legends. Additionally, there are two other people here who have come in together. One of whom is clearly some sort of, I don't know what you would call them, somebody of the arcane or the academic or the esoteric, and a bodyguard. When these people show up, you often find that they take that approach. They have paid for a sellsword. And other than that, there are mercenaries off duty here. No one else is in the Hound's Lodge. This is a bit of a club. You've made 2 gold pieces in profit as a group. What would you like to do first? Get business out of the way with the...
We need to talk about... So... We need to talk about expenditure for a library, slash mages. I mean, I mean, the guild is not a place. The guild is a group of people. The place that they would need first and foremost would be a library.
Um,
So the discussion. Go ahead.
Ailish, she's been talking all night about everything. She talks constantly, and she says she's a kind of a little bit overweight, middle-aged woman, very obsessive and talkative and friendly, and but when you start to steer the conversation over into talking about an actual guild, she says, "Who has the vials other than the ones I have?"
Vials?
You mean the pestilence?
The pestilence, yes.
We
She
sold
leans
those.
in and whispers about it.
We sold those to Ullman.
To Ullman. And
Yes.
how did your discussion with Ullman go?
He was not interested in joining any guild. He has too much of his own work to do.
I see.
I think he's not a joiner, but clearly he's still valuable to the settlement.
I hope it's okay. I did speak to Odo about that. I am admittedly concerned about Mr. Ullman, and according to Odo, Ullman has lived here for many years, and for good or ill, Ullman trusts him.
Well, he did cure.
Flanagan.
Yes.
Is Flanagan here? I guess I'm wondering what I can...
Yeah, you could do Flanagan and Yuba, and then Yuba would be
There
on
you
the
go.
adventure. Yeah.
Okay,
Yuba,
cool.
just, yeah.
Okay, so Flanagan's sitting here quietly, looking pale. Go ahead, Magnus.
Nonetheless, I think he's neither here nor there for our preparations. If he doesn't want to join, then one less mind with which we have to share.
Flanagan kind of leans in and he says, Odo might trust Ullman, but I mean, I don't think anybody's spent as much time in his presence as I have, and I'm a pretty forgiving person, and he saved my life. That man is, I don't even know if that's a man. I'd feel much better. I mean, it's none of my saying what you're all going to do with your wizardly pursuits, but I would feel much more comfortable if that person wasn't part of it. If Ullman even is a person.
Flanagan, what you say is at the heart of the matter, because I know that you've been selling things that you find to Ullman, and I know that somehow he has a seemingly endless amount of gold to give. But I wonder,
It's fascinating, isn't it?
I wonder if we keep giving him things that are found there, what he's using them for. And in particular, the pestilence. It's clear that could have destroyed this entire settlement.
I don't see why any of us are any more trustworthy than him.
Well, have you looked at him for approximately 30 minutes? Have you noticed the way his eyes never look in the same direction? The way he
Yes.
speaks in a strange and peculiar way, the way he seems to know things that no one should know. His eccentricity, the way he always wears a hooded cloak,
Yes.
the way he never makes eye contact with you when he speaks.
Yes. I've noticed all those things.
Yes.
But, as has already been pointed out, he did cure one of our number. He shows a deeper knowledge of alchemical processes than I've ever seen before, which will surely be valuable, even if he trades them as a commodity. What else do we do but trade in dangerous things as commodities, risking our very lives in the search of treasure and knowledge? Anyway, my point is, I haven't seen any harm that he's done, I've only seen the good that he's done. Yes, he's got piles of gold to spend. Is this a bad thing?
I would say not.
I wouldn't want to get on his bad side. I mean, he's collected moisture from my body. I don't know. You might have some pact with him. I don't even know what it is at this point. If whatever you're going to do is going to be in competition with him, that's another thing to think about.
He seems interested in alchemy, not books. Although perhaps if we had books on alchemy, he might find them interesting.
Fathers, what do you think? She asks Father Bloombad and Father Caden.
Priests.
I mean, I want to have no truck with this man. If he isn't.
We don't trust him. We question his motives as well.
I see him as a practical necessity, nothing more. And I'm not talking about trusting him with anything. I suppose we trusted him by selling him those vials. But nonetheless, I mean, we are many.
I believe he used the vial to help Flanagan, didn't he?
I think he took them as payment for helping Flanagan, to be perfectly straightforward.
And I appreciate that, Magnus. I do appreciate that you did that.
Well, it just seemed the thing to do.
In my professional capacity, I would advise that you trust him to do no malice, but do not rest your life in his hands. Not that he would drop it out of malice, but he's only so strong.
To me, this is all a tangent. The man has no interest in the Mages Guild, and so we need not trust him with anything. That's why he's not here tonight.
I think it's the very crux of this arrangement that we could come to, Magnus, because then she kind of looks to the side for a moment, and then she says, I'm mostly concerned with how dangerous things could be, what you find. I could offer an alternative arrangement. I don't know if I can give gold, but I want to ask a question first. Have you found anything in your travels where something could be disposed of effectively?
You donate your own.
Found a place where things could be disposed of, you mean?
Flanagan pulls out all the maps and starts looking around on these things that have become like his security blanket almost.
Let's just say that we find something.
I suppose there's lava. Lava will consume.
There's that lava.
Things. I haven't been there myself, but I've heard of it.
We can also say that Fergus is here, by the way, Caden.
Oh, Fergus, okay.
Yeah, and Fergus, you would know that lava would be very useful as an elementalist for those things that could be destroyed by fire, but not those things that could not. But anyways, and she says, yes, that's incredible. If we find something that is so corrupting, if you in your adventures find something that is so corrupting, so terrible, I would like to propose that be the basis of our guild, our magical efforts here to protect the people here. And so we should discuss what you find. And I can't offer gold, but I could try to offer some knowledge. I could help research things. I would like to note that Mr. Ullman does not seem too keen on offering any information.
What kind of form is that?
No, agreed.
Can I switch
Parity
to?
is not one of his virtues.
Can I switch to Yuba for a minute?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So I think Magnus, I'd imagine that Yuba, in the few weeks that you've known her, has been, especially since Barra has died, she's very confident, and she's probably been, and you can tell she's very sharp as well. And she's probably been following you and asking you a lot of questions. Not like she's 18, but she's not like she doesn't act like a child. Like she probably is like really wanting to be in on this and asking a lot of questions and wanting to share knowledge with you, etc. So I think she would be here, and she would say, I'm not sure what you're getting at. Are you suggesting that things that we find as a part of the agreement of this guild, that the things that we find that are corrupt we destroy as part of the
Right? Didn't you say?
as part of the agreement?
What I'm hearing is two different questions. One is there a reliable means by which corrupt things can be destroyed? And the other is, are you saying, I think that you will pay us, that we can be paid in knowledge for things that we otherwise might think to sell to Ullman for gold?
Yes. I will be... she actually seems really nervous. She crosses her arms. Ailish does. She says, I'm not comfortable with the fact, although I'm very happy that you are okay, Flanagan. Having given Ullman this power is something that we just don't know. That pestilence was something awful. It could kill everyone on this isle, for all we know. And it leads
There
me
may be
to...
more of it.
or things that are worse. So I would like to suggest that the basis of any agreement about cooperation on matters of knowledge in this place would be in one that is in the interests of protecting that knowledge and people. And in return, I will... and this is, of course, only those things that are obviously dangerous. I know that you sell monster parts to that man. I can't imagine what he does with those. But if you find something truly dangerous, I can help us try to understand it.
That sounds like a good deal to me. Are you a more skilled alchemist than Ullman?
What's everybody else say to that?
I agree wholeheartedly with the woman's proposal. I think her attention is going to be useful to us, and I think that her heart is in the right place.
I would destroy it regardless. So
You mean Caden?
yeah, Caden says he would destroy it regardless if he believed it was that harmful.
Father Caden, that would mean that you would need to have a sure means of doing so. Which all the more means that we should speak about these things, I think. And anyways, when you all say that, she just she breathes a sigh of relief. She says, "Good. No, I am not a skilled alchemist like he is. What I could do are well, there's a couple of things that I can do. I can entreat things to examination to try to come to understand them. I can examine things in a way that many people can't. And to that end, I would like to agree with Magnus that if it's possible for us to try to work together to build a reliable and secure library and a place where we could research things, and then hire a sage to attend it and to keep it guarded, as I'm sure this place will need to be guarded at all times, then that would be excellent. Because, and I think this, if you agree to bring to my attention anything that is deeply dangerous, not share it with that man, I will volunteer to be your sage and to manage your library.
Talents have grown in so short a time.
A very generous offer.
You won't find a better one.
Yuba nods and she says, I think if I can summarize what I'm understanding here, I think what we're talking about is an ethics to this organization. That the knowledge that we find, this is, as Barra would say, that knowledge is power. And this isn't something to treat as gold or something else, that we can do ill if we do the wrong thing. So to think of these things as potential weapons or potential things that can do good, but it's not something that's just neutral, and we have to recognize that. I think that's what you're saying. And she looks at the woman whose name I can't remember.
Ailish.
That there is some a code of ethics and responsibility that we have.
Oh, of course. Any handling of magic should be in the good of all the people of Albion.
Yes.
Cold
As defined by whom? That's really, if there's anything that gives me pause, it's
Right.
the unspoken answer in this question.
Right.
Defined by you, did you say, Magnus?
No, I don't claim to define it either. I just I don't claim to have a better claim than Ullman.
You
when
notice
when it comes to alchemical processes and
Yeah.
liquids found in vials that there are no answers to.
You
So,
notice
you see what I'm
Eilish
saying?
refuses to look at Caden and Bloombad when you say that. Meanwhile, what about
Well, I propose that all the members must vote on it.
Members of what?
The Magus Guild would meet together to discuss what they believe is good for the area.
If there's a question of sharing knowledge outside of the guild, or question of whether or not a substance should be sold to Ullman or something along those lines.
Yeah,
Because a guild, as nice as knowledge is, it's difficult to eat on it by itself. So the guild will be in need of coin and large amounts of it if we wish to have a true library.
I would like to propose that not only is that there are votes, but that when we're making decisions, that we achieve consensus on decisions. I've read enough about history to see what can happen with votes and how power can be taken. And yes, things might go slower. Yes, things might sit undecided. And I know I'm young, but I think I've learned enough and seen enough already to see what can happen when power is corrupted and certain people take charge. One person who decides that something isn't right should be enough. That's what I would like to propose as part of the founding statements of this guild.
And that's Yuba speaking?
Yeah.
what does Fairgoss think?
Well, I was just kind of doing it because it's hard to do too, but he probably agrees with everything. That if one person thinks it's dangerous, then it should be destroyed.
Oh, it should be destroyed? That's I don't
Or
know
at
about
least,
that. We don't know what it
heavily
is.
guarded.
Yeah, surely we can share knowledge amongst ourselves. We wouldn't trust to outsiders.
Perhaps locked away where it cannot be used.
Now, on that matter, Ailish says, and so you are sitting at this rugged table that you've got inside of the lodge, right? And you're over probably in a corner. You've probably got mercenaries like making this a private meeting, maybe. It's candle lit, around on the table, and there's papers on the table, and she has done a bunch of figures and numbers, and there's ledgers, and there's even lists of names and different things like that. She's like, I think this shouldn't just be a building with books and alembics. This should be very well guarded, and we should think about how we can try to secure something that's dangerous, even within the walls of this place, near its people. It should probably be placed somewhere as far away from everyone as it can be, and still be completely guarded. And out of character, I think that's going to be probably over 2,000, because 2,000 is the building, the place And then the books you will accumulate. Like you'll find books and you'll find items. Not just books, by the way, but it sounds like curious, magical things that you find, right? And then you'll need to furnish it in such a way that these things can be locked away like some, this is the beginnings of a wizard's lair, right? So
Yeah, it's wild.
That
Yeah.
spork is really dangerous.
yeah, well, it may be. You don't know, right? Like, but
I've got that.
That's sport, yeah.
I'm holding on to that.
yeah. So, anyways, her proposal is something more akin to 3,000 because building bookshelves, but also all sorts of secure furnishings, safes, locked rooms, metal doors, or iron-bound doors, and then mercenaries to guard it 24 hours a day, the ones you trust.
Perhaps we start with the innocuous things in the library, and then, like, we add on to it secure things later.
Out of character, I'd also like to propose a, what did we call it? Order of succession. So like Magnus is the kind of the senior magic user, and then it would be Yuba, and then, and this is only like, if Chris's character dies, and then you say, well, I want to play a thief now, and you use your estate rule to play a thief instead or whatever, then it would go to the next person. So that way somebody, out of character can actually benefit from it and use it, if that makes sense. But all the characters will benefit from it, but you also need to be able to use it. But in character, I note that there's also this consensus thing that's being built, right? So I don't know if that makes any sense, but like somebody should also be able to use it. Yeah.
You're dang well right. We better be able to use it.
Yeah.
I'm going to
Right.
be using the heck out of it for as long as he's alive. Yes, indeed.
I
Looking
wonder
forward to
about. Flanagan says out loud, I don't. I'm a little wary of these things, but I do trust all of you around the table, and I know you're talking about protection and such things. And I mean, we don't have many around right now, but we are a mercenary company. I wonder. I'm just putting it out there. What about if this guild was we excavated under the lodge?
Ooh, a
So
dungeon.
You already have
A wizard's dungeon.
have the protection of the lodges above. In the back room, could be this room. Let's say that in the back room. There's a back room somewhere. We there's the cellar we already have. We start to expand out on that.
Yes.
You already got some protection, right? We help each other.
I was thinking along the same lines.
Oh,
And I
cool.
think it's a good idea. Yes, we can make a vault for all sorts of secure items, and then we can also make an observatory, perhaps, if we build up. So
Yeah, if you want to help
I
out,
wonder what's beneath the town.
if you want to add in,
Sorry.
help support the structure of the place. I mean, and put some kind of, another floor up there to do whatever you want to look at the stars or whatever you do. I'd be happy to support that.
well, who wants to study underground? I mean, I ask you. What are we, dwarves?
I hope
There
it
are
doesn't extend
concerns.
to the dungeon by accident.
If you wish to keep your discoveries safe from the influence of the underworld, burying them deep within the earth is a questionable decision. There's a reason that wizards' towers are towers and not pits.
An astute observation.
That's cool.
I say.
Yuba is making little notes in her book.
Yeah. Eilish turns toward this young man. Dalton's young, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she says, I don't think we have met. What is your profession, sir?
I am a knight errant. I travel. I resolve concerns.
I'm very
I dabble in
familiar
matters
with the
of the
knightly orders of Albion. What order do you serve? Or what master or lord?
Oh, I serve no living lord. Nor any unliving, I know you were thinking it. But rather one who has long since passed away.
I see. My condolences that you
Thank
are
you.
a knight without a lord. certainly this is the sort of place that could use a knight without a lord. I guess.
They've lost one. Why not another?
Ah, Eilish looks uncomfortable around Dalton.
My apologies. I've spent far too much of my life talking to myself in the wilderness. I lack certain
Social
certain
graces.
qualities of social graces. Yes, that is the perfect word for that. Thank you, my friend.
My pleasure.
I assure you, though I am ill-suited to the company of civilized men, I am, despite all that, a man of peace and honor. And you have nothing
And
to
a
fear.
valuable and doughty companion in need.
Yes.
At need. And in need.
Dare I say, devastatingly handsome.
All right. Out of character, is there anything else that you want to do related to Eilish that you want
The
to?
only question is, when can we start paying for this thing? You know, or yeah, that's really the only question.
Oh, you have 3,000 gold?
No, I've got 939 gold though.
Oh, wow, that is still a lot of gold.
Well, I have 700 something.
So the way estate works in the book is that as soon as you can pay the amount, you gain the full benefit of it immediately. But in the world, if you were to go there, you would observe it under construction. So it would look like a bunch of workers or however that's managed, but you still get to use it.
Okay, well, I'm gonna just start setting aside money. I'm gonna chop off like 900 of my gold. Like now, I've spent so much gold already.
Right.
Even though I've got so much, I've spent so much.
I've spent a lot, a really lot.
Yeah. So I don't want to ask I don't really want to ask any non-mage to contribute to this. I would rather. I thought maybe it'd be a good idea when I was looking at the messages earlier, but then I just don't think it's actually a proper way to play Magnus. Maybe another character would agree with it.
Yeah, and I want to emphasize this would be Magnus's tower.
Yeah.
Now, that being said, if Magnus dies, does it become Eilish's tower? Yes, of course. And then you'd go on and so on and so forth.
If we're talking about a tower, let's talk about it later. I'm going to start saving up gold. We'll talk about that later. I would want
only one person pays into it then?
Or whoever,
benefits.
if the other mages want to
No. So a couple of things. Everyone that pays into it gets the whatever monetary or whatever gameplay benefit. Everybody that pays into it gets that. So, and that's always been the case, regardless of who does that.
I get it. I don't need it to be Magnus's tower for the purpose. Magnus's tower comes later. If I hit 9th level or something.
All right.
I
think this is how it becomes. This is how it becomes someone's tower.
It could be, but I'm not trying to think that far ahead. I'm just thinking right now for the purposes of we all need to be able to. Knowledge is scarce. Spells are scarcer.
Yeah.
So we all need to work together on this. So I say, I'm gonna start setting aside money now. Other mages who want to set aside some money.
Yeah.
As soon as we hit 3,000, we do it.
Awesome.
Okay, so you don't want Caden to give any money to it then?
Not Caden, no.
That makes sense.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay.
All right.
No, it's not. Maybe it's just Magnus. Magnus doesn't want to put it that way. I'd love the money.
I think it.
Right.
I think it makes sense. The reason if I were to guess that you're thinking is you want the gameplay benefit of having paid into it. So I want to offer what it would look like.
Yeah, that's why.
And then wait, hold on. And then I'm going to preference the fiction as opposed to the gameplay. Okay. The mechanical benefit is that presumably he can increase at the level of his magic user as a henchman, as a survivor, right? Because that's what a state does. In the fiction, what it would look like is the church patronizing this magical group. So, do we want that in the fiction?
I do
because
think the church has an interest in it as well, though.
no, of course, but Magnus may not want the church's interest.
I don't know
in
if
it.
I want the church's influence
I
in
hadn't
it.
considered that.
No, no, Magnus has been considering it the whole
And-
time. I'm just too polite. He's too
Yeah.
polite to say
So,
say it out loud.
And I want to say my decision is that whatever is happening in the fiction is what we'll preference there. So like if the mages are like, no, we don't want the church involved, then you wouldn't. But otherwise, Caden paying into it, what Caden paying into it or Bloombad represents is the church giving money to this. So
Is there some reason why a magic? You're saying so? Caden has. Is that who Fergus is? Is the magic user henchman?
no, so this would be Caden doing it because Caden has
Yeah.
has his money.
No, he means who is Fergus is what he's asking.
Fergus is
yeah,
your.
that's my magic user.
That's
yeah.
his second. That's his backup. His secondary.
So you're just saying you want to pay into it so that Fergus has the benefit of it, right?
Well, that's what I was thinking, but
Yeah.
So-
gameplay that.
So just look in gameplay. You could just Caden could just be like,
no, we won't do that. No.
all right. I mean,
Yeah. We won't twink a character and take
Right.
a low level character and beef him up with a high level character. Yes, and in fact, I don't know yet, to be honest, if I'm going to allow for parallel or adjacent characters to be that surviving inheritor. I don't know yet. I'm thinking about it. I want to, but there are complications about that. Probably what I'll come up with, if I had to guess, is that will be okay, but there will be some kind of balance to doing that.
honestly, who can like?
I
If Magnus dies, it's not like he's got like a fighter nephew who's going to be interested in his wizard's tower with its books. You know, it's not like it's just going to be like the Hounds of the Pine are going to end up having to deal with it anyway. If that happens, like you just make a decision then, right?
No,
It's like,
your surviving characters will kind of own this estate, and the estate gets passed on to survivors.
okay.
Yeah.
So, it would be just-
So what happens is you don't lose estate, even if your character dies. If you paid into the lodge and you paid into that, and these will all provide different benefits to survivors, and then it kind of goes on.
But let me say that I don't want to. I don't plan on playing this character again until Caden dies. After tomorrow.
Caden?
until Caden
Fergus.
dies, you mean?
Fergus.
Oh, Fergus, yeah. So I'm not sure.
I
I'm not
don't
sure. I'll
intend
have to-
like to swap back and forth. I just if Caden dies, I will play
Yeah.
that character.
But we'll talk about this later. But
It's also, I can say, and it's an advantage to any magic user character to have such a thing nearby, even if they're not owners of it. Like, just having it there, it's like you have access. You might have to pay for it, but you don't have to travel across country hundreds of miles to find the nearest library. There'll be a
Yeah.
library right there.
or if an entire group of hounds that have no magic users for whatever reason, if that was to happen, and they find something weird, they have an option. They have something they can do. It's a service that exists in town. But anyways,
Okay.
okay.
I'm good for now on that whole subject, unless
Okay, I just want to add one more thing. I think Yuba would say in this conversation, and maybe we're talking about money and people donating and things like that. I think she would say, you know what? I think where I came from, there was a city. This might not even be true, Ross, but whatever. There was a city and a guild there, and various guilds. And the ones that were held in the highest esteem were the ones that did not take donations from other sources. That they were their own institution, and they were respected for having their knowledge and not and knowing that they weren't going to be taking money or bribes or being lobbied from other people. So I think it might be important for a house of knowledge to have that kind of independence, and that only wizards and sages are paying into it. That, in my mind, might be another founding principle of such a guild, is that there is an independence from other ideas and modes of thought.
I was just going to say the church will be watching this anyway.
Well, of course you will. And she just says, well, I'm sure you will. And that's exactly why it wouldn't make any sense for you to be donating to us, because we'd be getting in all kinds of arguments, because your philosophies are different than ours, and that's fine.
In fact, Caden feels like it's not fine.
Exactly.
And
We're,
Bloombad's just like, Yeah. There's only one philosophy. Like, like it's just
Yeah.
like
Listen,
there's one way here. This is
young lady, I would never have been so bold as to say such things. I respect both of these fine gentlemen enormously, and all of us have directly benefited from the close watch they keep on all the activities in Zelkor's Bay.
Uba is beloved.
I'm going to put a pin in this because I think it's hilarious anyways, and I love the problem to begin with. And then once we get to a point where we can afford it, then we'll revisit it.
Yeah.
So, okay. All right. Time passes. You discussed this with Eilish. You also discussed just your plan for going back into Rappan Athuk. It is a journey and a huge risk every time you do that. So you all spend time together, thinking about what you need to do, checking supplies, making plans and tactics and talking about stuff. While you do that, a man comes up to you. You recognize the man. This is Brainy. He was one of the only survivors. You paid him a huge sum of money to stay around. He says, "Now look, you all seem like you're pretty good at this. You've stayed alive around here for a long time. I don't know if you know this, but there's a group over at the Bristleback. They've been catching up. They brought back a lot more than you have lately. But I don't have any interest in working for them. I think that lot will die. Just like the other group 2 weeks ago. Dead. Never came back. Well, are they dead? I think that's the same, don't you? If they didn't come back, we can assume they're dead. Or worse, right? Either way, I need some work. Either that, or I'll take the boat out of here."
Well, my good man, we happen to have work for men like you.
I'm curious where they've been getting all this loot from. The other group.
Oh, the Jagged Blade.
We'll be sure to ask them.
Yeah. Suppose you'll need to.
But indeed, how many of your fellows are about?
My fellows. All
Yes.
all my friends are dead. You
Well,
saw
yes,
to that.
I mean your fellow mercenaries.
I'm no mercenary.
Oh, sorry. This is the one bandit who
Yeah,
remained.
Brainy. Yeah, he's a 4th level fighter.
Oh, he's the one I charmed. Is that what
No.
you're talking about?
Actually, no. This is someone else in addition to that. This
Okay.
is
I turned that guy in.
at one point you hired 2 people and a mercenary, and the mercenary died, and the other guy and Brainy was the only survivor. He came back and he was like, "I'm done with this," and then you all paid him a ton of money to stay around.
Oh, okay. Yes. Well, how many other mercenaries are in town right now? Do we know?
You all have
I think we have like 11.
yeah, you have 11, of which 2 are adventuring mercenaries, but one of those got drunk and was thrown in the brig. So if you use him and was thrown in the dungeon. So if you use him on this session, he'll have a penalty because he's hungover.
Okay, and Brainy's the other adventuring mercenary?
Brainy is not a mercenary. He's a hireling. He is a level 4 fighter.
Okay.
We could use him.
What if we put him in command of of a couple of mercenary guards over the fisher folk camp?
Yeah, so we've got 10 total. These are the halberdiers, right? And 1 foot captain. Is that what I'm looking at here?
Yeah, you have 10 total. One is Gulver the Unearthed is the captain. 2 of those are willing to go on adventures, but one of the ones willing to go on adventures is hungover.
Right, okay. Okay,
The ones
so...
that sorry.
No, you go ahead.
Well, the ones that aren't willing to go on adventures, are they willing to go guard a place for us? Like
They
the fisher camp?
the contract they were willing to come in on is to not leave Zelkor's Ferry. There are what's called house guards
Okay.
in the
Okay.
book.
Okay,
Well,
so
this guy can sleep it off when he gets to the fisher folk area, or maybe he'll walk it off on the road.
I have a question about our Magnus as our caller today. We're going to go past the Fisher's camp. We were talking, I think we were talking by text about this. Are we
Yeah.
going to do some kind of like stay overnight ambush situation there, or what are we thinking about?
It was certainly discussed.
Yeah.
I have as the plan tonight that you were going to talk to the Mages Guild people, you were going to do a sweeping patrol, you were going to go on the first level, and then if there was time left, you were going to go down to the level at the damp hallway.
Yeah.
That sounds like a good plan. We also agreed, I think, that we weren't going to try any serious effort until the summer, until the water levels go down.
Okay.
So we could ford the river with less risk.
Yeah. Then in my mind, I don't know if we
They
should
did
send
go
out
down.
guards, because like a couple guards out there, the fishermen aren't going out there anyways. We're not gonna. I feel like it doesn't make any sense to send a couple mercenaries out there if there's like a pack of who knows what coming over the ford.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. That's I agree. So we'll leave it for now. And just we'll just sweep through the area on our way.
Sure.
And I will therefore.
Is this going to be a 2-day journey to the mouth? Like,
I
are we
think-
going to have to camp?
It's
Yeah.
worth noting that you do not have enough horses unless you use Brainy as a mercenary, which you can do, except he'll take a portion of your treasure regardless. That's kind of how he works. But you can't take him as an extra because you wouldn't have a horse. As it stands, you have just enough horses for 2 mercenaries and Monacan. Unless you didn't
What
take
about-
Monacan.
Well, Monacan has his own horse. I paid for
wagon.
it.
Mhm, I know. I'm saying yeah, and you could also take the wagon, but then you wouldn't be able to do the sweep because the wagon needs to be on a road.
I thought we
Okay.
had enough to. We did this last time.
You do have
we have-
enough. I'm talking about Brainy. So there's a guy here that's like, hey, I want work right now. I haven't worked in like 3 weeks.
What?
What do you do?
Okay,
And
let's
What if we bring
let's
him
switch
instead
them
of
out.
the mercenary?
Switch them out. No, we want to keep the mercenaries to guard the horses when we get to the dungeon.
Oh, okay.
So I'll switch out Monacan, then I'll let him use Daisy as his horse, and we'll take him since he's complaining.
Monacan doesn't seem to complain. He's got plenty of money. He takes half of your treasure every time you come across it. So
Yeah,
he's pretty filthy rich, actually.
Yeah.
And I
Let's
will
let him,
say,
let him get roaring drunk here.
yeah, Monacan will possibly have he'll have a 1 in 6 chance of carousing. It's just 1 in 6.
Right. He deserves it.
Yeah. All right, and then this guy's name is Brainy.
I think a level 4 fighter might be more useful on the open road.
Pretty sweet.
All right, so Brainy, he's satisfied. He's like, all right, well, we leave in the morning then, right?
Correct.
All right, boss. See you all then. And then I don't know why he's a New Zealander now, but he takes a room for the night. Uses too much of his gold in anticipation of all the gold he'll find the next day. And
Oh, optimistic.
a lady approaches your table after this, late into the night. And she says, I'm sorry to bother you, but are you the Hounds of the Pine? She has a nice flowing dress. It's well embroidered and has expensive dyes, and you can even see jewelry. This is a woman with money.
How the heck did she get out here?
Yes.
You say that in
We
character?
are.
I mean, not in character, but
Okay.
I'm definitely thinking it in character. She could read my mind.
Really flattered you, if that's okay. Yeah, we're the Flat Hounds of the Pine. Welcome to the lodge.
Thank you. I am Regnuk, and I am a student of the strange, and I have heard such amazing stories.
Flanagan just sort of like opens his hand over to Magnus, like, this isn't my. I'm a mercenary captain, my dear, and I do more logistics than I ever thought I would in my entire life. I never thought I'd be doing all the organizing that I'm doing now. Even
She stops. She doesn't look at you, and she just looks at Magnus and like ignores you after you start revealing your station.
Yeah.
She doesn't appear chaotic, does she?
She's a woman.
What I'm gonna use to take evil, what I'm saying.
Oh, she is chaotic as hell. There is something wrong inside of this woman.
Caden kind of shakes his head like, oh, I don't know.
I look over it. I mean, I'm well aware of this.
She has her back to Caden, so she doesn't see her.
Yeah, he's making faces like, oh god.
And your name?
My name is Regnuk, and I think I have some talents that could be quite useful.
If she doesn't have a horse, then she's just going to drag us.
And she's a demon lady.
Yeah,
Does
she's
she-
got a lot of chaos.
Does she have a horse?
She does, and I need to make a note that the stable,
Huh?
they have horses.
Oh, okay.
Yay!
Oh, hey.
Just in time.
Yeah, we're just about to leave.
Dan? Wait. Yeah. Yeah. She says, I think I have talents that you'll find very, very useful. Try me. Try one of my tricks. See what you think.
Flanagan just gets up from the table and walks away. I don't want any part. I've seen enough.
I'll cast Detect Magic. Does she have any magic items on her?
Good question. She does.
Oh, we can rob her.
Let me.
I'm kidding.
I mean, you can. It'd be a chaotic act.
Yeah, well,
I wonder how many of those you can get at this point, kid.
I think I just have one.
Yeah.
How many does it take?
Indeed.
Yeah,
how
I don't
many?
know. And your rate?
Oh, I think you misunderstand me. I'm actually not here for pay.
Are you seeking a share?
Not a share of money. But if you find something that I'm looking for, something specific, without question, I want to know that you'll give me that.
Oh, you don't propose to accompany us?
Oh no, I must accompany you. Me and my companion Rodok.
Well, I apologize, but I'm afraid my answer has to be no. You see, there are conditions that would make such a journey and such a companionship most uncomfortable.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. And I've journeyed so far. Well, perhaps... Is there anyone else in town that I could speak to about strange things that I could learn from?
I'm afraid I'm a newcomer here myself. You'll excuse me.
Oh, yeah, Magnus probably just gets up and everybody just like kind of leaves, yeah? She's like, I've traveled so far. She's very frustrated and she leaves angrily.
So far, and yet with such an impeccably untouched dress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, I briefly, I briefly,
Unmarked by entropy.
I briefly contemplated something that I probably couldn't really get away with so many lawful guys in the party. So
Uh,
Uh,
Trading.
the old, figure out a way to have them walk in front and figure out a way for them to not make it out.
Right.
I mean,
And then, figure out a way
Take
to
her spell book.
take all her stuff. Exactly.
he is very chaotic.
I mean, that
Tempting,
doesn't.
We could make an argument.
Yeah, I don't. I
we
don't
can't
think.
start jumping people just because they smell
No,
bad, because you
but-
can get chaos on you through other ways.
We
I
can
also-
review at the Magic Islands for safekeeping.
Yeah.
I'll leave that up to the self-appointed law here in
That
town.
said, Dalton is going to nip off and warn our boy Ullman that this weird lady in town gonna be looking for schmoozing with you.
And he's probably just gonna tell her to go away.
Ullman,
Yeah,
I'll just kind of
almost certainly.
pan over. I won't go into that, but he seems irritated by this and frustrated only. He has no interest in trying to, and you've noticed that's always been the case, that all these people come and it's almost like he's some weird sage on a mountainside and he's always just like, leave me alone, like every time.
By the way, Dan, your audio is not coming through at all.
Oh yeah, I didn't even notice.
Oh yeah, no, I
Oh,
didn't
you know
either.
why?
There we
My
go.
audio is not coming
There
through.
it
I'm
is.
not pressing the button because I just got off a Zoom call, frustrating Zoom call where I was talking the entire time on,
Push to
voice
talk.
activated.
Yeah, voice wave.
I'm going to
All
turn
right.
on voice activated. It's not like I talk to myself as much as I used to.
Magnus, the sun rises. You arrange all of your horses, everything, all of your gear at the gates of Zelkor's Ferry. Where do you go?
What are we doing? I don't even know. So I can know what to bring.
We're heading out to.
No, I know, but where are we heading? So I know
Yeah,
what to
so
bring.
we follow the banks of we go east until we hit the banks of the
No,
river,
My
and we
question is,
follow it.
what are we doing? 'Cause I
It's
missed
in
that.
chat. You're doing a patrol sweep of the area. Like it's the same as before. You're doing the same
Okay,
thing.
if we're not going in the dungeon.
You are going
then
in the
we
dungeon.
are.
It's the same
We
as
are,
last
but
time.
we're taking a longer route there.
Shannon will tell you. Go ahead.
Okay, well then I have freebie to switch gear then at that point.
Okay.
Because I don't know.
So,
what gear I'm
one real quick: are we camping tonight and then going to the dungeon, or are we just going to the dungeon?
We're going to have to camp because we're taking the long
Okay,
way
then I
around.
will take hold person instead of find traps for today.
Yeah.
Be right back. I have to go to the restroom.
Roger. You all did make it last time, but you had to march 2 hours into the night to make it.
Yeah.
So you had to risk traveling in the forest at the foot of the mountain in
Yeah.
darkness. But you did make it.
We'll see. I'm not inclined to do that.
Sure.
But
Okay.
we'll see.
All right. So you make it, in fact, that far.
Okay.
and,
with no. Any signs near the river? I mean, we walked along the banks of the river. Any fresh tracks or signs of those creatures as we go through?
I will tell you, not that you would see, but I will mention that you actually,
We
it's,
have a ranger with us.
yeah, except he went to the bathroom.
Oh,
I'll
yeah.
roll for him, actually. I'll roll for him. You get right about here, and this is so dry that you can tell the earth is hard and cracked in places. And there are only eddies and spots of where the flow of water continues on in places. And then there's little pools of water that have turned stagnant and pond-like. The ground is pretty much passable there. Let me do a check real quick.
I guess there's no way to know if it's going to be that way next week.
Right.
No, yeah. Weather forecasts more than 96 hours, even 1,200 years later, don't work.
Yeah.
As far as the tracks, he's able to confirm for you. He points to that. He says he bends down and now the fishing camp has long been, it's just crap. It's the same thing that you saw 2 weeks ago. People have not gone back out there to risk their lives to fish. Anyways, Dalton, he bends down at the river front where the dry riverbed is, and he says, yes, I can see where there are tracks, and not only that, but groups, and they've tried to hide their tracks. This is an organized effort. And
Where are they heading?
This way and back. They've crossed the river, and then he
Right,
points
but when
off.
they come,
And then he points off to the west. He says, that way. And then he looks, runs ahead for a bit, gets on his horse, leaves, comes back. And he says, as I thought, also south. They have the lay of this forest. It is an organized group, an army of sorts. They've found out that trying to attack in the open is not working for them. I think they were likely to lay ambushes.
well, then we must be cautious.
I have a few questions about that. Oh, go ahead. So are they coming over? Is the water where that ford was? Is the water lower now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's dry mostly.
Oh, okay, so it's easy. We could cross on horseback now quite easily and come back. And does it seem like, I would ask, what maybe Dalton would tell us this? Does it seem like they're based across the water and then making forays out into this area? Like, is there a sort of a clear?
Yeah, he said they were coming this way and back.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe
right?
we could go over there.
I mean, does anyone object to a complete, left turn?
I don't know. I kind of feel like if we're going to do that, well, we could do a scout on horses. I mean, that's what we agreed to do, a sweep, and I think that I mean, it could turn into an assault, but we're all on horseback, so
Yeah.
If they're on foot, can we tell if they're on foot, Ross?
Yeah, Dalton confirms that they are on foot. That's something actually he was able to confirm 2 weeks ago as well.
Yeah. And we haven't run into any that were not on foot.
Not yet.
So yeah, that's the decision. Then we are going to cross. We're just going to check things out. Go across. Maybe. Now you say we made it 9. That's a bit of a backtrack. How far did you say we made it? Like, let's go the same distance.
I'll just
Like,
put the
how
map
far?
up.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, let's cross and see what we can see. We'll
See
go
how
on
far
from
we
there.
can get in one day
Yeah, I mean,
without camping.
we're going to have to assess as we go.
All right.
Is this going to be as dangerous as it was last week?
Well, no, right? You said we could just cross on horseback, so we don't have to make crazy rolls, right?
So yeah, let me define the environment for you a little bit, okay? Let me start by kind of giving you the bigger picture and then working back. From where you are, what you can see.
Richard, I'll up. I'm just going to update Richard on text. Go ahead.
Thank you. From what you can see, there's a hill here. It is fairly steep and rocky and barren, although you can see a forest cresting its top. You see a forest sweeping around down the other side of the hill. It's almost as if at some point in the past something has made this hill bald. And this mountain. This is quite a long ways. So up this mountainside is 2 miles up, right? So it goes on, yeah. So if you crossed right here, you would either need to follow the riverbank around, or you would need to go up the mountain. That's one thing. Now, the horses lose... I'll have to bring this up, because this is something important. Let's see. Horses in mountains, they actually are worse than people. They can be.
Right.
In forests, they are about the same. And traveling, and this is the thing Heretic, to your question, yes, you're confident you could cross. The downside is that it would take a very long time. Like, this is probably not super accurate, this player-facing map, because this would be a whole 2 miles, which is absurd. But it is a long ways, and you're probably going to have to like move slowly and check where you're going and kind of find a way across and pathfind and stuff. And then the horses are not going to travel easily across it. So all in all, by the time you get to the base of this mountain, it will be nightfall.
Okay, maybe not.
No, I'm not dissuading you. I'm just giving you the variables in the fiction, so you can make your decision.
It's tempting, but
Maybe cut across in the daytime, morning.
Well, they'll probably be out here in like 3 days.
Yeah, I think it's better to just we'll wait and see if the dry season holds and make a decision at a later time whether we want to actually take a crack at it. But
Yeah, maybe next week.
for now, I think we have a good goal in mind, and we don't really know what we're going to find on the other side. So
Yeah, I feel like this is like last week where we were going to do a sweep and then we found that this was going to be a bit treacherous, and it's the same thing on the other side now. We're finding, okay, this is actually going to be a bit of a bug hunt in the hills here. So maybe we need to prep for that. I'm with you on
The whole point
that.
of a sweep is to see if there's something you need to respond to. And it looks like there is.
Yeah. We already know we have to deal with them, and the longer we take, the more they,
Yeah, but we're not prepped for it this time. Now we know what we're facing a little bit more better again.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, you all make it close to the wood line. Dalton, roll a d6, please.
Well, maybe they're gonna come to us.
Oh, he's still bugging me now.
Do you hear me, Richard?
Oh,
Okay.
yes. Sorry, I hear
it's
you.
okay.
Say the
Roll
thing
a,
again.
roll a d6.
Rolling. 5.
All right. This is good news.
Probably good.
Yeah. So you it starts getting a little more woodsy. Getting to the foothills of the mountain, when all of a sudden, Dalton, you sense something moving among the trees.
I signal for everyone else to get real quiet, and I just listen.
Eva goes quiet.
All right. You're quiet for a moment, and then you're confident that it's almost like the boughs of the trees ahead. Now, this is a ways off, but the size of this tree is what gives you the information. Is that, like, let's say you have like the tree with its boughs like stretching out. It's almost like one of the boughs moves and shifts and gets up higher up in the leaves, and the leaves shift.
Did we burn these trees down?
Well,
I don't
No.
know. Did you?
Wait,
Oh, okay.
Okay, there you are. What I'm getting
I
out of
went to
this.
click on the screen. I clicked on the X by accident.
Oh crap!
I've done that. What I'm getting from this is that there is someone in that tree who is
Or a
observing our
spider.
actions. A spider might also be the case, but like that would also be a thing in the tree.
I wave over to Father Blumbad and Caden and say, "Can one of you douse that tree with light?"
What time is it when this is happening?
This
Late
is
evening?
dusk. The sun is setting. In fact, it's kind of dark. There's long shadows cast by the trees towards you as the sun sets on the other side of the mountain.
I can cast it.
Who has a bow? Or like, do we have any good bowmen?
I'm not a good bowman. I have a
But
bow.
you're a bowman, okay.
Did you
At
say
your
you were
level,
gonna
you're
cast light?
at your level, you're an okay bowman. Even if
Yeah,
you're,
I mean, I have the same negative that you do, but otherwise I'm higher level, so I guess yes.
okay.
What were you saying, John?
Well, I thought Father Bloombad said something about casting a spell.
Yeah.
I was
Bluebad-
asked if somebody asked if one of us could cast light, and I said I can.
Yes, I'd like to ask him to ask you to, and I point towards the, well, I don't know. Actually, maybe I'm assuming too much. Can we assume you've informed us
Yes,
of your findings?
something in that tray. Not sure what yet.
I will cast light where I am directed to.
All right, you do that, and there's an unearthly shriek that erupts from the trees as you see long shadows of things, claws. I'll put the wrong things in the trees here.
Oh no.
And
are these the trees that we set on fire?
these are not the trees that you set on fire.
Oh, okay.
It's a huge forest. I can't imagine we could burn down every single.
Once we can burn this out.
All right. They shriek, and you can see them scurry down the trees and headed towards you.
Oh,
Dalton, you see. Actually, Dalton, roll another d6 because I think actually this would require a roll.
Uh-oh.
This will be the last one. Nice. Okay. Dalton, you can see shimmying movement in trees all around you.
All right.
okay.
Spiders
Kill it
there.
with fire.
More spiders there, and there.
Okay. Shall I roll initiative?
I think it's initiative in time.
Well, before you do that, what's the plan? What do you want to do?
Well, the plan is to put them to sleep.
Okay.
My plan is
Yeah.
that we don't
try.
stay here for them to attack us. So maybe get some range and
I mean, the ones that we can see, though.
right.
My
But they might be able to close distance with you.
My plan is to stand between Magnus and the spiders, and be ready to attack them as they approach.
Okay. You can certainly
have-
arrange your icons, in a way that, however your order marches. Okay. So in that case, yes, Magnus.
And by the way,
Let's see.
Monacan, you have Monacan's token, but Monacan is not here.
Right. That's
Rex
gonna.
is here.
Right. That's Brainy. Okay. So the first thing is anybody declaring spells? You got a sleep spell. Is
So
that it?
Magnus, Yuba just taps on Magnus's shoulder and says, "I'll hold mine in case there's more."
So how
this-
far does that light spell go? Sorry.
Let's finish what I was gonna say. Yeah, because if there's more in the trees, so I'll hold on this next round. I'll cast one if more come out of the trees. So you do this round, Magnus.
Sorry, John, just 1 second. Dalton, I mean, are you pointing to these other trees too as you're seeing these like shimmying things?
Yes.
So I'm going to assume, I'm just going to sort of, encompass those things in my mind as I cast the spell.
I was gonna ask, how far does that light go
It'll work.
for his spell?
Yeah, he can. Yeah. Do you want to
So I
cast
don't
light?
think Yeah, I was gonna ask, can we see around us? If not, I'm gonna cast light.
I will say no. You can see. Yeah, it's still light.
Oh, okay.
Okay. All right. The next step is to roll a d6, please, Magnus.
Booyah.
Very good.
All right. That's very good. All right.
Yeah.
You all are able to act first. Because of his roll, we'll also reveal where these are. Because he pointed them out.
Okay, I'm gonna cast sleep too.
Oh boy,
2 sleeps.
that's
All right.
a lot of spookers.
Yeah.
All right. The first thing is movement or missile.
I
If
think
you're
the mercenaries should be in the second rank
okay.
because they tend to die
Sure.
really quick.
Yeah, they have a lot less hit dice than us.
If you're moving or firing a missile, you can do that now.
I just want to find out distance, and I always have trouble figuring out distance.
Where are
What do I
you?
do?
What are you shooting at? And then I'll.
Well, no, I'm not shooting yet. I want to find out the distances. I don't want to be in melee range of them when they move.
Oh, yeah, okay. Well, you're on a horse, so you pretty much have the lay of it,
Right.
Frank.
I
If you
just
hit
want
that,
to move a
if you hit
distance.
that little, there's a little ruler button on the left-hand side of the interface. If you click
Oh, that thing that looks like a
Sending armor
crown?
class 13
that,
is
the one that looks like
is
a
the
straight
goal.
razor.
13 is the armor class.
That's it.
All right, is that all the movement and missile fire?
Wait, so we're all just standing here?
Movement and missile fire. If you're moving, go ahead and move your token and your horse. And if you can't move your horse, let me know. And missile fire if you're doing either of those. All right.
I cannot move my horse.
Okay.
But I don't think I'm going to move either because I'm going to be behind the guys with armor.
All right. Melee combat. No one has it, and then spells. So.
Did anyone shoot? No.
Actually,
I did shoot.
They
That
are
means I
going
can
to
move, doesn't
move.
it? Shooting means I can't move, doesn't it?
Yeah, if you shot, you
Yes.
cannot move.
So I guess, maybe you're gonna have to tell us the hit dice, Ross, so we can when we roll sleep.
Yeah, sure. It is
Uh-oh.
2 plus 2.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Go ahead, Magnus. We got 46 worth of. Here's mine. I hit 12 of these.
Save
mofos.
us.
Blam.
6 more.
Oh my god.
All right, so
I mean, I think the first one, the 12 would have probably done it, but yeah.
it's
It's a good thing we both had. So.
Yeah, it says melee combat and spells, so that goes first. So you all manage to, as these things just skitter all around you, you all say your words, and you cast the dust, Magnus, like you said, and you cast it all around you, and they all fall on their faces asleep all around you.
Time to murder them.
Yeah,
Wizard.
All right. You can. Is that the plan? Is to just kill them in their sleep?
Yeah.
All right. You go around and you do that. You kill all these things. You kill 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 of them.
So the ones in the far forest are also asleep.
Yeah, actually, that's a good point. And actually, I need to look at the spell just to make sure I'm not.
Yeah, the range is 240 feet. 1
It
plus
says that puts creatures around a targeted point, so you have to select a point. That's key, and because of that, that means the range is important. So I assume you pick the point near you, and then it's 240 feet. But we're in the wilderness, so it's times 3, right? So it's yards. So that means, in fact, that is the case, and you actually put 2 more asleep that were waiting somewhere else, waiting for you. All right.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Go with the gory business of cutting these things, blood
Yeah.
everywhere, weird insect gore all over our forearms, and
I
Okay.
instruct the group in how this is done.
That's
Do we want
messed
our
up.
eggs?
And I thank the wizards for not letting down my trust that they would save me from a grisly death.
Did we check for eggs or?
That's a good question. My first thought is that, if possible, it would make sense to geld them and then allow them to remain here so that they would occupy the ecological niche without being able to reproduce, and which might cut their numbers in the future. But I think that might be planning too far ahead.
Yeah.
All right.
So this is where we have to. I mean, this is evening time, right? So
Do you do anything else with the spiders other than kill them? And then do you do anything else while you're here?
I mean, let's.
Well, we could sell some of their parts to Omen.
Yeah, I'll extract what can be usefully extracted.
Yeah.
To my knowledge.
And maybe some spider silk
Venom.
might be useful.
I don't think these are the silk spinning spiders.
Oh, okay.
Are they? I assume they were hunting jumping spiders.
That makes sense.
there's tons of venom here, probably. I don't know if I
Yeah.
want to risk any of that, but
So the decision point for that, Magnus, is if you try to now, here are a couple of options, okay? You can ignore them. It's nighttime. You need to camp or march in the night. Option 2, you could try to get bits of these. I will note, I'm not going to hide this, that Ullman has already bought these. Right. So, and then another option would be to try to harvest something useful. Another player has tried to do that before. I will say that there's a chance that that could be dangerous. The ranger will be best suited for it, but the poison on these things is really bad. These are not natural spiders.
Yeah. No.
Now, that bad could be used, but it'll take time and it's dangerous.
I'm not.
Yeah, my instinct is to pile the bodies and burn them.
Yeah.
Or we could bring
except
our
for the
camp
legs.
with them.
You can cook those like crab legs.
Gross.
You know what, my young man? Have at it.
What were you saying, Heretic?
You could bring our camp with them. That way, if any predators come at night, they might just feast on their bodies and go away
Yeah.
instead of burning them.
Well,
Might that attract predators?
a good idea. Perhaps. I mean, predators tend to fear fire, from everything I've learned. But I think we will instead go still with the fire option. I feel better about that.
Very well. You have the beginnings of your campfire for the night. A pyre of disgusting smelling, like this stuff. It's hard to be around.
I don't want it to be the campfire. I
Okay.
don't want to set it up.
Well, you find out that's the case soon enough. Like you have to go build a fire where it doesn't make you gag. This thing smells awful. You do that. You go downwind somewhere upwind, and you build a campfire. You camp through the night. The sun rises the next day. After the watches of the night, what do you do next, Magnus?
We go southwest towards the entrance.
Very well.
And we have to leave the mercenaries behind with fighters.
Now, what I was trying to point out is that we all had horses. Just so you know, we won that roll, but if we had lost that roll, that's a lot of saves versus poison. Whereas if we had traveled outside at full combat gallop, not full movement, but just full combat movement on a horse, we could fire at them and cast spells at them before they could close in on us.
They might be faster than we think.
They're not faster than horses, most likely.
Didn't even get an attack on us.
I know they didn't, but that was luck of the roll. You see how many of those there were.
No, that could have gone much worse.
Right.
I decided to put my faith in my comrades.
Right. Many
Yes,
people
the light-
could have
the light
died in that
shines on
one
us.
attack out of luck.
All right. You descend down the Onyx Black steps again into the demon's face. And you come back again into a place where you remember it's hard to breathe here. And your footing feels weird, almost like at any given time you wonder if you're traveling a little uphill or downhill, or if it even changes moment to moment. Time and space feel different. And if you want to... So I offered this in chat. You only have a couple of places left, so I want to break my rule. If you want to explore the room with the statues, if you can tell me how to get there, I'll start you in that room. Or
where does this entrance leave us in level 1?
Near the center, there's the room with 6 exits and the upward stairway. That's where this drops us off.
Okay.
Now you can also just not explore that room, to be clear. But that's. I'm just trying to keep it moving because it's not like there's.
Just to be clear, northwest of the 3 on that map I just put up is the entrance room. You can see the stairs, a little arrow going up in the middle.
Yeah, I've got it. All right. So what are the other options, Ross?
Well, you can just start where you are at the first level, and I think there's a couple of places that you wanted to explore in here.
Yeah, so there's 5 places. There's I've numbered them. So we've got number 1, which I don't know. I think we didn't check for secret door at the end of that hallway. 2 is that a door. 3 is 3 doors in the middle, and then 4 is a room with the demon or whatever it was, all the statues and stuff that we just left. Yeah. And then 5 is going down into the damp hallway afterwards.
Right, we did check secret doors. Whether or not we successfully rolled, I don't know, but we did spend time checking secret doors in 1.
We did? Okay.
Good.
I think 3 is the closest to the entrance.
I am curious about the statue room, however. So let's start there.
All right. If somebody can describe to me the path to get there, then you won't get lost and you won't have an encounter.
Okay. Can I?
Do you want me to do it?
You know what? Let's start with 3, and then we'll go from there.
Okay.
All right.
So you want to start in the first room.
Basically, yeah.
We head south, and then we just go east a little bit. There's 2 doors on the south wall that we haven't explored yet.
All right.
Before we get to that pit.
Okay, so yeah, we will head south out of this door. And then
Slimy. When you come out into this hallway, you see clumps of just smears on the floor in places. The door is ripped off the hinges of this door, and this door is not only shut but bolted. Things jamming it shut.
All right.
Someone had a bad time here.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some death centipedes on the other side of that door.
We will go east down the hallway a little bit.
Right to here. Looks like, yeah.
Yeah, and have we detected traps on these doors yet?
I don't think so.
Hmm.
This is early days. 0 XP hallway.
Do you want me to use detect traps right here, or?
We definitely want to use it if we go to the statue. That's clear, right?
We did it there already, did we?
We did? Okay.
I don't know.
I don't think
I know
we
we did
did.
in the pool.
No, I don't think we did. I don't think it
Yeah.
was active when we went in there.
I didn't think so either, but we did do it for the pool.
Yeah.
There's a stick game with blood on it as well.
Do you have fine traps as well?
Yes, we have 2 castings of it, as far as I'm aware.
Might as well.
Why don't we use one?
Yeah. Let's do it.
You cast detect traps. Is that
Yeah, I'll use mine.
okay? All right. There are no traps here that you can sense around you. There's no traps. There's one here, but it's even already partially uncovered over here at
keeps
the
putting up-
end of the hall.
Who keeps recovering that pit? Who is doing that?
I don't think you all ever uncovered it. You've always
No,
skirted
just
around it.
avoided it. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Let's open one door here. We'll open the Caden, or perhaps actually, how about our
I will-
mercenary?
I will gladly take point in this.
Okay.
matter.
Oh, okay.
I'll take that. Or
Interesting.
The mercenary has far too much money left to spend in his life for him to risk it here.
You open the door and you see a hallway that's 10 feet wide and 40 feet long with a doorway at the southwest edge of it.
I'm just gonna go through checking the doorways.
Yep. Good idea.
Pretend that I'm right next to Dalton. I just don't want to keep reaching into the gap.
Can someone
I'll
else?
reach the end of the hall.
Can someone else check that other door too? Since we've the one.
Are there any doors in here?
No. I mean the one adjacent to this one that we can.
I
Just
can check that one.
This
Yeah, just
this door
open
right
that up.
here?
Yep.
If we don't have a thief, I will open it.
Very well.
Well, you said there are no traps on it, so.
It's another. Well, let me just make sure this is a rusty iron reinforced wooden door. This one's kind of loud when you open it.
There were no doors.
Yeah, there's a
Keep
door.
an eye around just
Yeah,
in
there's a
case.
door at the southwest corner of the other hall. I
Oh,
assume
okay.
there's no traps on it, Ross?
Well, no, yeah. So you don't sense any traps on it. Well, hold on just a second. Let me take bit by bit here. So, Alaric, you opened this door, right?
Yes.
Okay. When you
And as soon as
opened,
I heard the noise, it said, "Keep an eye around us."
yeah. Let me move. Now, not everybody's in this room, but I'm just moving it so this is what Alaric would see. Alaric, you see a square room that's 20 feet by 20 feet. The wall on the east side is defaced and damaged. There are chunks out of the stone in places, but the floor is perfectly intact except for where some of the large stone tiles are cracked. The room is otherwise completely empty.
Huh. And the other hallway were there doors?
Yes, the
Yes.
southwestern end.
Okay,
Okay.
let's cut back. There's no traps visible in this room.
Did we say that the spell goes through walls?
I
All right,
think so.
There we go.
I thought you said that for Bad.
The caster can perceive traps. Whether that can go through walls is
Doesn't
Yeah,
say.
I
At
think
a distance of
perceive
30 feet.
means skit.
So it can go through walls.
Appears so.
Your interpretation, I guess.
Yeah, so long as it doesn't say blocked by 30 feet of stone or 2 feet
Yeah.
of metal or whatever.
Fair.
Okay. Okay, cool. Because of that, 30 feet, let me check. You, in fact, detect a trap. It's clear to you. You can even see you can sense a small mechanism, a long cylindrical thing. But it's somewhere beyond this wall.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, there's something behind that wall.
Okay, it could mean that there's another room over there approached from a different direction, or that there's a secret door.
Yeah.
Let's check later. Okay, let's go back into the other hallway and check and open the door at the bottom of the hall, assuming it's not trapped.
Yeah, I'll open it. If it's not trapped.
Nope. Sorry. That is not. Okay. Caden, you sorry. Caden, you go to open the door and it won't budge.
Oh.
The southern door was stuck. There was a door to the south. Kind
Is
of
anybody
was all-
strong who might be able to force this door open?
I would be honored to try, good sir.
All right. Make a stuck door check. Strength check.
Do I have anything on my person that will help? No, but it's fine.
I have a crowbar.
It's fine.
Got it.
Just did it.
Observe. Fine.
You slam into this thing, and at first it doesn't budge. Like and you're certain you put a ton of force into this. It only it slides just a little bit, and then it won't move, and then bam, and you slide again. This makes a lot of noise. But two things happen. First of all, you make a lot of noise. Second of all, you as soon as you open the door, there's this rush of air, this change in pressure, as you feel yourself almost being sucked into the room, as air just like rushes into the room. And I'll describe what you see here. You see inside of this room, it's clear to you, Dalton, that the door was spiked, and even that stuff was put around the edges of the door to seal it, and that it must have been that way for a long time. As soon as you knock open the door, a skeleton topples out, and you find in the edge of the room, there's a skeleton here. Also in the room are two skeletons wrapped in bedrolls. It also contains a strange-looking chest. The floors, walls, and ceiling look the same, except the southeast wall looks like it has taken battle damage at some point in the past. Chunks of the stone pulled out of the wall in places.
Okay, and is the chest trapped?
I was
And
about
then-
to ask that.
Dalton, you can roll a d6. And the chest,
A 1.
Oh boy.
a 1. Everything seems fine.
It's all good.
The chest, you do not detect any traps on the chest. And I'm gonna see if
Let's open it.
there is something beyond this wall here that you sense deception, Caden.
There's something down there that way.
And with this, your first round will pass, but not the round that includes the spell, which you cast later when you got to the door.
Oh, what do I see? Like really, literally ahead of me. So it looks like dead people on a mattress that they were
Yeah.
spiked on the outside. Or they were on the inside. I imagine.
Yeah, they're
you said.
wrapped. Yeah, they're wrapped in bedrolls. They shouldn't look like they're on top of it. They look like they've been wrapped up.
Gotcha. They're wrapped. And you said the spikes are on the inside because we didn't see them on the outside when he was pushing, right?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, like they
Well,
lost
Oh,
themselves. in
a burned out lantern also stands on the floor in the middle of the room. Okay,
well,
yeah.
Got the
go
10-foot
ahead.
pole.
well, it looks safe in here, but
Got
let's.
the 10-foot.
I don't have one. Let's check these. Let's check these corpses and then open the chest.
somebody hold the door, I guess.
I'll hold the door open.
Okay, I'll stand with Bloombad.
Sounds good.
Okay.
I
So
will
I have
hold
a
my.
bow
I
ready,
will hold.
aiming down the hallway.
I will avail my lantern to be used by the searchers.
who goes
Can I
and
ask-
Sure,
hold
Hugo
on?
will take it.
Yeah, Magnus. Who goes and checks the chest?
I don't know. Let's send our mercenary, I suppose.
All right, you send your mercenary. This isn't your mercenary, but that's fine. You know, it's just the token.
That's why I said our.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So okay, so what? The Brainy. Brainy's like, all right, fine. He goes up, checks it. He's operating kind of slow. Suddenly, you feel kind of strange. All of you feel strange. Everybody make a Constitution save.
Oh no!
Did he open it when we
Yes,
started
isn't
going
it?
strange?
It happened after he opened it.
No, he hasn't opened it yet.
He hasn't opened it. That's what I wanted to know.
Oh,
Where is the character sheet?
Yuba, natural 20. Yay!
Or I should say this kind of
Oh.
happens in the process
Maybe
of
for-
all this. Okay, so a couple of things. Brainy
have
opens the chest, and he says there's just some clothes in here. Oh, this one's fancy. Oh, this one's kind of fancy too. He starts stuffing his backpack with the clothes he finds. He finds one, I'll tell you what because he'll tell you later. A silk gown worth 30 gold pieces. 10 sets of servant garments, which he leaves, so they are worthless. And a crimson wizard's robe embroidered with stars and astrological symbols and strange
Yes.
designs. It's worth 20 gold pieces.
Yes.
You know who's taking treasure?
I put it on immediately.
You
Yeah.
run over.
Well,
Did you pass your save?
I did. Well, I
did
rolled a
not.
7. I rolled a 17.
Okay.
Both
All right. So you come over, you start just like putting it on, right away. It fits, in fact, except that it is for a shorter person, and so it probably comes up to your hairy ankles, and then otherwise, it fits.
Why are my ankles hairy?
I would imagine. I mean, it's sort of a compliment, actually. I mean, why would they not be? But anyways, everybody else that failed the save suddenly falls over onto the ground. Now, it looks like Father Bloombad and Alaric passed the save, and Dalton and Yuba, and all right. So, most of you all pass. Caden, it says you failed. So, like,
Yeah.
you see Caden fall over on the ground.
Anybody else besides Caden? You said?
Well, it doesn't look like it. Actually, I need to
Okay,
make
I
one.
grabbed Caden.
No, me also. Dalton fall down.
Actually,
I
also.
stole my
Oh.
arrows and grabbed Caden and start pulling him out of the room, holding my breath.
Well, hang on. You see this stuff happen, Magnus. What's the plan?
Oh, well, if I see Elric doing that, I certainly don't stop him, and I react with alarm. I mean, I suppose if we had to make a saving throw, we probably all detected some foulness or something like that in the air. Like, did the blast, or is it a gust or something? What?
Something is clearly wrong, and you can feel it. You yourself feel woozy. Yeah, you feel like something is different in this room.
Okay. Let's all depart, and then can one of our clerics detect evil, perhaps?
I cannot.
I'm unconscious.
Yeah, he's unconscious.
I'm going to try to drag him continuously as far up the hall as I can in one round of movement.
Okay.
I'm holding him by his shoulders, dragging his feet, not the other way around. I'm not an animal.
Yuba will say, someone help me, and she'll grab Dalton and do the same.
There are no other doors in that hallway, right?
No.
Okay.
And Caden, you are asleep.
Right. It's on the way.
Okay.
Well,
Can I now? I don't have detect magic. Is it possible to wake Caden?
It seems like
lightly.
It seems like something has made him not just asleep but unconscious. And everybody else passed. No one else failed, right?
I also failed.
In that case, Dalton. That's the same with you.
Yeah, so Yuba's there as well. I can imagine she's leaning over them with Magnus, and she's shaking Dalton a little bit and slapping a little bit on the cheeks. Does it seem like, is this like a magical sleep? Like, because we know what that's like. Or is it something different?
Yeah, the thing with the magical sleep is I think you could wake somebody up, actually. In this case,
slap them awake.
These people seem ill. Something seems like it's wrong with them.
Boy.
They seem unconscious.
Right.
Like a rag doll.
Well, she'll slap him a little bit more violently. Not doing damage, but like, Dalton, wake up! Wake up! And she'll shake him, she'll pinch his cheek.
I feel Caden's pulse. How is that?
It is slow, as if his heart has slowed down.
We don't have any poison neutralizing abilities here, do we?
Nope. We were gonna have to. Yuba says maybe we just have to wait this out. I mean, if this is magic, from what I know, she glances at Magnus. It probably won't last forever. If it's poison, well, and there's nothing we can do here. We can't get them back to town in time.
Do they seem? I mean, I know it's only been a couple minutes. Do they seem to be worsening, or is it they're just in a steady state, or is it not possible to tell?
It does seem like a steady state.
Try drawing something embarrassing on my face.
I don't think it'll help.
Be a waste of good ink.
Time is passing. Just to a point here, are we going to be waiting for time to passing in this hallway, or are we going to go into perhaps the room alongside, so we're out of?
No, there's
not the room where there was magic in the walls.
No, the room that was the one I first checked. That was the square room.
That
we don't have to do anything other than stay in it.
Magic behind the wall there.
Behind the wall, okay.
Well, a malevolent trap, right?
Yeah, this one to the north had spider webs in it and had been empty for a long time. We could go up there and wait a while.
I mean, we're not that far from the exit. We could also just go. Would we prefer to try to defend ourselves in a room here, or be in the free air? What do you think?
Michael,
Yeah,
go ahead.
I was going to say, yeah, outdoors we've run into any number of things. In here, at least, we might have be able to control the angle of how many can attack us at any given time.
How about our horses and mercenaries? But
Well, that's always true.
I'm asleep, so.
Okay, so let's go in. Let's do that then. Let's go to that web room and try to wait for a bit. We'll wait a couple of turns and see what happens.
Very well. You go over to the room, and then what do you do from here?
Let's close the door.
All right.
Sure. And I don't know if we can spike it from the side or not, but that would be great.
I don't know that that's
like other people did who were lying dead in their beds.
Yeah, let's not do that. We're not going to all go to sleep. We're just
a couple of us can put our backs to the door and just hold it shut.
We can just wait for. We'll wait for. Yeah.
I'm gonna monitor Caden's pulse to see if it gets weaker.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Let's wait for. What any change after a turn, or after 2 turns.
I figure a half hour wouldn't be bad for taking a quick little rest if we had to wait that long.
Yeah.
So that's like 3 turns.
Sounds good to me.
If nothing changes before that.
All right. You, Father Bloombed, you're checking them. Check their pulse. They seem like they are in a consistent, steady state condition. Their heartbeat isn't dying off. They don't twitch. They seem completely unconscious. Their heartbeats are slow. What else was I going to say? Dalton, roll a d6.
I shall do so presently. One moment. I'm getting the thing to load. I'm typing it in. I roll another 1.
He is unconscious.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Well, I'm gonna take. Well, you know what? I'll be
Either
nice.
way, I'm not going to succeed either way. I rolled a 1.
I know, but I'll say who else had their back to the door? Father Bloombed and who?
Yeah, me and somebody else.
Yuba's looking over the 2, so not her.
I was carrying.
I guess it was just me.
Okay,
but
Father
I'll go up
Bloombed,
there.
roll a d6.
I can go up there.
Hold on, it's not giving me. Oh, there it is. 1, nice.
Everything seems fine.
Everything seems fine.
No problems.
Okay.
Everybody feels woozy.
Okay, just to go back for a second, what was happening when we all felt woozy? Was it right when someone touched the chest?
Oh, I was gonna say I just didn't want to talk while I was in there with the bad air. Remember, we opened the door and freaking gusts of air came out, pressure changed, etc. There was an accumulation of some kind of gas or something like cave-in type stuff, like methane or whatever. Whatever is in there was accumulated and heavy pressure. When we opened the door, we felt it.
It was actually in the other direction. He said that it felt like we were being sucked into the room.
Okay. Never mind.
Yeah.
I feel like that line of logic is leading in the right direction.
Yeah, I don't.
There might be some signs flipped in the math, but
yeah.
I feel like you're working with the right variables.
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe recheck the math.
Okay, so nothing has changed then after 3 turns. No change in their condition.
No.
Okay, it's time to leave. We need to go home.
Or just go out and camp.
We accomplished nothing.
Check this out. I black out instantly. It is not clear what move I was trying to do.
Right. So
if they could come back, like if we're going we're an hour out and they recover, we can always turn around too, right? But
well, so yeah, let's go out and at least we can be near our mercenaries and our horses.
All right. So you open the door and leave and drag their bodies out?
Yeah.
I'd prefer to think of them as drag them out.
All right. Father Bloombad, roll another d6.
All right. Oh, come on. I don't know. Okay, there it is. The dice just don't appear right away for me for some reason. Another one.
Stop rolling ones, everybody.
All right, you go out into the hallway and something happens right away. This is really bad.
Is it?
I think so. As groups around you suddenly get to, they're gonna fire. And you're surprised. Let me look at here.
Well, RIP.
Yep.
Yeah. They get a surprise round.
Yep. The one is bad.
At least they're not going to attack the unconscious
3,
people.
4,
We have 6 of them, I can see.
6, 7, 8, 9.
9 of them.
Dalton has 26 hit points. Wow.
This is the first round.
He's a beefy boy.
And I'll go ahead and actually do the next round as well. The next, instead of short bows. Okay, let's see here. How... I don't think it matters. They're just firing kind of indiscriminately. So I'm just going to kind of go round robin. Because they're not like trying to target anybody right now. Alright, so starting with Dalton. What's your armor class? This way I don't have to...
My armor class when I'm is 15, but that
15.
assumes I'm holding a shield, so I would assume 14.
Alaric?
Armor class 16.
16, Caden?
Okay, 15.
15. Father Bloombad?
18.
18. Yuba?
10.
10. Magnus?
10. And Rex is also 12.
And...
Yeah, same for Ripley.
Alright. Alright, 12. Alright, so let's see here. And then also this. Okay, so starting with Dalton. Let's see. The first two miss. The next two, does anybody have... Next one's for the Bloombad. They miss. They miss. One hits Ripley.
Oh.
2 points of damage.
Oh, okay. I think it's okay.
Okay.
Not the best ambush.
Nope.
Misses. The next one's Alaric. An 18 hits Alaric.
Yep.
For 6 damage.
Oh.
And the next one misses. Let's see. Well, maybe Yuba is a 10. One of them hits Yuba
Okay.
Oh, Lord.
for 6 damage.
Oh, well, she's dead.
Oh, Lord.
She's dead.
Yep.
He's dead, not even...
Mannequin,
Yeah.
which is not mannequin, I know, but let's see. One of them hits
I'm sorry, Yuba.
Unceremonious.
5 damage.
We got
She had
Flanagan.
so much promise.
Brainy.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the first round. Wherever. Yeah, now initiative D6. Yeah, got a 4. I got a 2. All right, you are able to act first. The first thing is, what's the plan? The arrows, to be clear, the arrows have flown from every direction around you.
Be bad.
Yeah, well, sleep.
Yeah.
All right.
Sleep.
I'll attack this guy here. I'll move in to attack him.
Okay, so sleep, and then any other spells? The
I'm
clerics.
unconscious.
You're gonna move. Okay. All right, and so
I'm unconscious.
yeah. Father Bloombad's gonna move. Let's see.
Rex is going to join whoever, like, in with, I guess, Father Bloombad or
I think my probably would help too.
I think there's two guys in here. I can't. Yeah, right? I can't see the second guy.
you don't have a torch.
Okay. Oh yeah, there's two guys. So
All
I
right.
will attack one for sure.
Yeah, actually, I can't move and cast a spell, probably, right?
Yeah,
No.
he missed. I mean, she missed.
Yeah. So, all right. However, Father Bloombad, you can, if you sacrifice your shield, you can light a torch or do whatever if you need to. just let me know.
I can see now, so somebody... I can see, like, I can see the guy in front of me.
Okay.
And part of another guy.
All right. If you're moving or firing a missile, do so now. Nobody else? Nobody
Distance?
firing?
The distance to the west, is there anything in sight there? You said arrows came from the direction, but outside of sight, right?
You should be able to see them, actually. They're kind of like
Okay.
peeked around the door, and one of them is exposed.
Okay, then I am charging them.
Oh, we're dead.
Okay.
Without them.
All right. Let me look this up.
Are they humanoids, chaos men? What are they?
These are one-hit die, and they are humans. They look in terror as this person charges down the hallway, gleaming sword in hand.
I feel like I know who they are. The other adventurers.
All right. What else? Okay, movement. No other missiles. Nobody fired a missile. And all right. Anybody doing melee combat? Looks like it's just 1, 2, 3, 4. All right.
Yeah.
Wow. You're
Nice.
right. You're right, Dan.
Yes,
like
a
when
large.
you're in that situation, you know.
Only when I'm fighting multiples do I roll high.
Yeah.
So
Don't you have more than...
Rex
Oh,
missed.
there's just 2.
okay. And then also, Caden, you have a dog as well.
Yeah, I rolled a 7. So.
Ah, okay. Let's see. Father Bluebad, you charge into the room with the dogs, and you just run through and clock this guy in the face. You can hear teeth snapping from his mouth, and probably bits of bone fly back against the wall. As his head explodes, you take him out immediately. There's somebody in the dark clambering after you. Meanwhile, Alaric, you charge down the hall, and immediately, just like a lightning bolt, you charge down there and hew 2 people down at the end of the hall. It is their turn. They're not moving. Oh, spells.
What about spells?
Yeah, absolutely. Seven.
Centered on that guy over there, just in case it matters.
It does.
Yeah.
Okay. You hear things fall to the floor. Now I'm going to roll, because it's the OSR, see if they fall in the pit, because they are standing there. I'm going to say that they have a 80% chance of falling. No, 50%, because they could fall either way, you know.
Yeah.
38, they fall in the pit. They take
That's funny.
6 damage. You kill them all, and it causes the pit to crash in.
Nice kill. You got
Mag-
4 in 1 round. That's more than I. Oh, actually, it's a
That's
maximum I
about
could do.
Magnus's
Magnus is a killer.
Magnus's voice
AH.
echoes through the halls in triumph.
That creates noise.
Yes. Well,
We'll get back to that in a second. Let's see. These people, I'm going to do a morale check because this was really bad. But they won't get it till the top of the round.
And they have light, I assume, right?
These people were skulking in the dark. They were trying to use your light. But this person comes out because he has no other choice, and he's going to try to attack the dog. He hits... let's see. That one's Rex. This one is Ripley. Ripley hits Ripley for 4 damage. Does Ripley have 6 hit points?
I think 9.
Ripley has
I think the dogs have 9.
9 hit points, so 6 of 9. Okay. And then, let's see. These two, they're going to fire. They can't, and they stayed put, and they can't fire. So actually, they're gonna move, and they're gonna shut the door behind them.
Basement skeleton.
All right. All right, and that's their round. And you can roll a d6, Magnus. 4. You are able to act first.
Have that door down and have their heads.
Are there any more in that crowd that I can't see where there's one dead directly south of where we were?
You don't see or hear anything else down here, even though it's dark. You're pretty sure that you killed what was down here.
No, I meant, I'm sorry, the group. I'm just trying to see, situational awareness. The group that includes Rex, is there more people down there? Are they fighting?
Yeah, there's a guy with me.
Yeah, they're fighting and stuff. Is what I meant to tell.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna move out here to work on this door and let the dogs finish that guy.
All right. Yeah, you come over.
I got a hit.
You can go ahead and. All right. Yeah, you can go ahead and make a force door check.
That was 4 damage.
All right. And then let's see. Magnus's dog Rex.
To do what now? Oh, to attack?
Yeah. And then is anybody else doing anything up here? You know, like Dalton?
As far
he
as
will
I
come over here and
understand,
help.
remain unconscious.
Does 11 hit this thing?
11 does not hit. No.
Okay.
Don't think. No, it does not. And that includes your bonus, right?
What? What
The-
bonus?
The dog, I think, has a bonus based on...
What level is the dog?
I don't know. Level 1, I guess. I don't know.
It'd have to be two hit die.
He's a 2-hit die. I'll tell you in a second.
He is 2 hit dice.
I'll just say
Oh,
it
they
hits. Roll for damage.
Okay.
It is +2. Just so you know, every roll you do is +2 because of his hit dice.
Great. Well, anyway, he does 3 damage.
The dogs tear him apart. What's Dalton and Magnus doing?
Charm person, I suppose.
right.
Do I have to? I probably have to see somebody to do it, probably, right?
Well, you're fortunate because you do see somebody because Father Bloombad doesn't open the door. Alaric, did you roll to try to kick open the door?
I thought it was Bloombed who was opening the door.
Yes,
I failed.
Yeah.
You failed?
Mm-hmm.
I failed.
Do you want to try?
Oh, okay. Well, then if he failed and I'm still able to try, I will try it.
All right.
Okay.
Just roll a d6.
There's a button for that.
There you go.
Oops. The first one is a success.
Sure.
The
All right.
second
You kick open the door, and with that, you now see somebody, Magnus. I know I'm not using the procedure because it doesn't matter. I'm just trying to get the...
I mean, I would have, I would have declared a charm person,
Sure,
I suppose, assuming that they could, trusting in their strength. In any case, he gets a save.
Okay. Fails.
My friend.
He's like, we have to get out of here. This is terrible.
I know, I've come for you.
Oh, praise the light. Get us out of here. I'm so glad you've come. I fell in with these awful people. And then, meanwhile, his friend is like, what? Now, I'm going to move you over here just so you can... his friend is like clambering up against the wall like, no, please. And he's just like, has nowhere to go. This chubby, overweight dude here. Actually, can I show that?
I'll leave him to I'll leave him to the light.
Yeah.
I assume Father Bloombad has something to say about it.
We're quite cross.
Yeah. How long did does this spell last? The first one, sleep.
It's like an hour, 2, or something like that.
Okay.
They probably would have woke up when they hit the bottom of the pit, though.
Like they died.
Yes, but they woke up before they died. That's the way I like it.
Oh.
Duration of sleep is 1
It's
hour.
like those guys in Mad Max. Like,
All
I
right.
mean, they only
So-
take D6 damage if it's a 10-foot pit, so there's a chance they could survive.
Yeah. Magnus, what do you do with this situation here with this guy?
come along, friend.
Okay, he
Better
does, and then you've got this guy here, and he's just like,
Well, no,
no,
I say to him, "Come along, friend. Better the cell than the grave."
He looks around.
Is
and
combat over?
Yeah.
I asked.
I was gonna go down and just womp on this guy.
I was going to
Uh,
ask Lumbad what would save him for the cell. I'd like
No,
to
no,
ask him
that's-
if he can resurrect anybody.
Oh, I cannot resurrect anyone.
No, I was going to ask the dude if he can resurrect, and if the answer was no, I'd shiv him. But all right.
Well, that's what I meant when I said I'd leave him to the light, because I assumed Father Bloombad would
Yeah,
probably just chase him down the hall and finish him off.
Any last words, Father Bloombad, before you do that? He doesn't. He's just like, you can smell urine. He's still clambering backwards against the wall.
Does he fight back or no?
No. He's horrified.
I strip him of his stuff and then I kick him into that door, shut it behind him.
You open the door and shut it behind him.
Oh, hold on. We haven't searched the bodies in there yet. Well, hold on. yeah, that's fine.
But dude, there's some kind of weird poison or
There's a
something.
name body in there.
I thought they did that.
It's our canary in the coal mine, yo.
I think they're the ones who did that to us somehow. And I'm going to ask my friend.
He kicks him in there, and he...
Yeah.
And shuts the door. And I say, don't come out or I'll kill you.
Yeah, that'll work.
I'm sorry.
Wow.
Okay. And you hear gasping behind the door.
Yeah, there's some kind of
Finally, it grows
poison
quiet.
in there or something.
Oh my. Okay.
The ether is foul in there.
Yeah, that room is bad news, I suppose. So. Okay, well.
Friend, tell us where the treasure is.
He says, I know. I'm so glad you made it. These people, they took me captive. I think there's treasure behind in that room. We've tapped around it. We can't find a way. I mean, and then he's like confused for a second.
No, they had you under their influence.
They made me do it. I was tapping around the wall, and we can't find a way in. But somewhere, I think that's where they think it is. We need to try to get out of this place. This place is awful.
I agree, but we will. And this, by the room, does he mean the square room we were just in?
He comes up to this wall, and he taps on it. He goes, dunk, dunk. He's like, see, there's something behind that wall. I think that's where it's kept. But we can't find, And he gets confused again. They were trying to get me to get in here, and we couldn't find a way in. Horrible
Might be in
people.
this room. Who took the big hit? Was that Alaric?
I took 6 hit points, yeah.
Here, I will cure you for 4 points.
I'm actually going to turn to poor Yuba and say.
Well, there is Yuba. Yes. Where is it?
The arrow through her neck.
Magic user death again.
They're the toughest to get past the first couple levels.
Yeah.
That's why I jokingly said I made a magic user as my second guy, but I expected another fighter as my third guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a third one. But then I know my MU's probably gonna die.
Well, I'm not rolling the third until the other guy dies. I'm just saying I expect a third.
Yeah, I will.
And I feel a bit emotional now. Poor thing. So eager. And clearly talented.
I'd like to offer. I sent something to John. Every magic user is someone who has a secret esoteric lineage. They come from an arcane master that they study under. And what's really awful about Yuba is she has ended that lineage. Whatever secrets her master that she had learned from held, Yuba learned, and now is lost forever.
Your cultivation story ends here.
Yes.
I like to imagine it's not like it's like a generic light spell. It's more like how somebody comes to learn to pull on these things and mess with it. It's sort of unique to each little group of esotericists that come up with it.
Now,
That's cool.
Now that spot behind the wall he's talking about, that's where the trap was, wasn't it?
Yep.
Okay. So
I still have a find trap spell. So if we want to search for the secret door, I would then be able to cast the trap spell, and
yeah,
you could maybe elude it.
let's do that before we leave.
All right. I'll just move you all in here. So from inside of here, you said you're gonna.
Oh no, you said that okay, so he's. We probably need to check on both sides, right? Because he detected something odd about the wall on the other side.
It was right here where the This is where the trap detection went off.
But it was behind. But it was behind that wall. So that's what I'm saying is that the secret door could be in this room or it could be in the hallway.
Let's search it. Right.
Yeah, let's search.
We could split up there.
All right.
I mean, we should all search because we only have a 1 in 6 chance of finding
Yeah,
it. So.
yeah,
We should
true.
all be
true.
searching. Split it up.
All right.
I'm gonna project the
Let's-
search.
Keep the
Nice.
unconscious people in the room.
It'll be fine in the hallway.
I'll be right back. I have to go to the restroom again.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll be in the hallway where it what do you call? Just
Is this?
it's,
Are these all the
Keeping
checks
watch.
right here?
No, those are it's my check anyway.
I'll just.
All right. Well,
Do you want us to roll?
There's only,
You want
there's
us to
only,
roll, or you
tower,
want-
huh?
the good news is that I'm sorry. I guess you're right. I should roll that d6.
Yeah.
But in this case, the whole group's doing it. It's fine. But the good news is that your new companion Magnus is like he comes around where the wall has been chipped out and like there's damage to the wall, and he pulls on it like in the part further up that you all found, and he pushes and then it creates a hole. And he's like, the wall's weak here. I think there was a hole here. It was damaged and somebody tried to fill it in later.
well then,
Why don't you open that up?
yes. Let's attend to opening it up.
All right, you all don't have to spend very long chipping away at the wall, and you find that a hole opens into a long hallway. The hallway is now, this is 55 feet long, 10 feet wide, and there's a door at the southwest end of it.
All right, I'll cast find traps right now.
All right. So far, nothing. An hour of dungeon time has passed.
Clear.
okay.
Clear for 30 feet.
Magnus, roll a
Okay.
d6. Okay. You hear... I need a couple of these things too. Okay, yeah. Right. On the other side of the walls, you hear growling noises. Somewhere. There are holes in places, but otherwise the walls seem sturdy. But through the holes, you can hear growling things.
To the east?
Growling things.
Yeah.
So there's something in the hallway out there.
Yeah, because I think the map is that big of a hallway.
Yeah.
All right. What do you do,
that would
Magnus?
be.
We need to go south and hope that those things don't come in.
Yeah, I mean, we can at least see if there's a trap.
Yeah. We'll see if there's a trap here.
Father Bloombad, when you pass the wall right here to your right, to the west, you sense a trap somewhere on the other side of the wall.
Okay.
And
Alert my companion.
No, but it's not. So before we were able to get some kind of a sense of, is the trap? It's on the other side of the wall. In other words, it's not the wall itself.
It's like right here. It's like we were in this room up here, and then we
Right.
sensed it here.
It's the same one.
Then
we've
we were
been
here, and then we sensed it here.
Right.
So it's in this room probably, or in an
Okay.
adjacent
But
room.
there's no trap on this door?
I don't detect one, correct?
Let's go through.
Well, there is something. I'm just making sure that I have all of it.
You dragging Caden along? Somebody just dragging me?
And moi.
That's a good question.
Yeah,
We
right.
can be compatriots in friction.
It's wild.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 3 or 4 of your members have information.
Yeah.
There is something in this room that has a deceptive intent.
I alert the caller to that.
Okay.
Agnes.
I still say, well, actually, I'm going to put it to, I'm going to ask for input here. We're down we're down 3, really.
Do it.
Because the 2 unconscious ones have not woken up and 1 is dead. So, do we actually want to open this door and deal with this right now?
I have light and
impetuous.
another cure light wounds.
I'm
Okay.
pretty impetuous.
I vote yes, but I'm unconscious.
The growling sounds fade and then disappear.
Excellent. Best news all night. Let's open the door.
All right.
Who opens
Alaric,
it?
would you do the honors?
Yeah.
You open this room and your light hits on something very strange. The room itself is bowed, the stone. The walls in 2 places in this room have been chipped away. And they look like just stony mortar instead of the sturdy stone in other places. On the floors is a large thing of. Let me see. I actually have the. This is the ambience for the room. You actually have pools of some Icarus gelatinous substance, and the ceiling is completely covered in something, and there are bits of it dropping off and falling into the pools on the floor.
Okay. Discretion.
There must be.
Get your friend to go do it.
There must be a secret door, or something, up here. If there's a trap up here.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes. That's actually.
It would seem like something he might know about.
I look sidelong at my new friend, and
Oh, maybe you can connive him by telling him you got some kind of magic screen against him or something.
my friend, in there, if my calculations are correct, did you say that we see a door in there? No, it's you see more like chipped away stone, is what you said.
I'm sorry. Say that again.
We don't see an actual door to the north wall anywhere.
No, just the stone is chipped away here and here.
Okay, I would like to, yes, my friend, in my growing age, I am afraid I forget many things. I know so many people. Remind me of your name again.
Oh, my name? Well, it's Trunan. You know my name.
Of course I know it.
Your name.
Truly. How could I forget? And of course I'm Magnus, and there's no way.
Yeah, that's right.
possibly
Yes, yeah,
forget that.
Magnus.
Magnus, that's right. You remember those times we've had. So I was wondering, your expertise seems clear. Could you please go and check those chipped away portions of the wall for us?
They didn't find this corridor. If we're gonna find something that makes being down here worth it, I guess I have to try. Very well. Wish me luck, friend. And he puts his
There's
arm.
no trap. There's no trap right here, right?
There's a deception in this room, but there's not like some object or some mechanism or something like that. You did sense a mechanism somewhere behind that
Okay.
wall.
Yeah.
So
There's a secret door, bro.
So he comes up and the same thing. He starts chipping away at this wall. I got to roll a D100. All right, and he chips away at the wall and it falls. And he's like, "My friends, I think we found it."
I knew you'd come through for us.
Well done.
And then he climbs in. He ignites a lantern actually, and then climbs in. Assuming that you all will also, obviously.
I mean, there's no weird reaction, nothing strange happening with the goo or anything like that. It's not moving by itself except for the dripping from the ceiling.
So far, yes, that's all that seems to be happening.
I'm gonna hold a small sack over my head
Okay.
and run over there.
Is anybody not going?
Going where?
I'm not.
Yeah, you're not. That makes sense. They leave you in the hall.
We can't leave him in the hall by himself. That
No,
would be
leave
slit
me.
throat.
He's got
He's
Dalton
got a
to keep him
dog.
company.
Please
Yeah.
leave me in the hall.
Okay.
He's got Dalton to keep him company.
Please leave me in the hall. Please
Yeah.
stop helping.
I see.
Yeah, no, I think, I'll stand at the outskirts,
Okay, so you're not going in. Who's going in? We got Father
Going
Bloombad.
in.
Going in.
Okay.
I'll go in, but I'm just not
You
going to
do not
go.
drag me into the death room. You leave me outside.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. I'm not
everyone-
walking through this death room. I am waiting to see what happens to the guy who walked through the wall before I go into the. I'm looking at the death room.
He says, "There's chests. There's chests." And then for a moment you hear rustling with the chests, and I'm actually going to roll and see which one he picks.
Oh, I love that bit.
There's multiple.
All right. I assume this did not happen before because I heard you say, Alaric, and you've been trying to be cautious tonight. And so I'm not going to screw you on this. So here's what happens. He checks the second chest. And all of a sudden this happens. Well, no. Actually, he opens the chest and he says, "There's something strange in this chest. Magnus, I think it might be something you might know about. I don't know what this is." You hear him, you hear tink tink
I'm
as he's
looking at the
tinkering
ceiling
with
to
something.
see what kind of slime is going to fall down on us.
The ceiling is covered, absolutely covered, and even
That's why I
bowed.
didn't want to walk into the ceiling. I mean,
Yeah.
the room.
Okay, I'm gonna, bring it to me by all means.
Well, let me check the other chests first.
Yes,
Chink, chink,
yes.
chink. Checks a chest. Oh, wow, there's books in this chest. He takes books. Oh, some kind of, wow, there's a lot of stuff. And there's containers. And
He should bring the books to us before he checks anything else.
Yes, bring the books to me immediately.
He comes out with an arm full of stuff. Let me roll something real quick here. Comes out, he hands you a bunch of vials of stuff that he collects in glass vials and a bunch of books and scrolls, and he's like, all right, are we gonna check? There's only one other chest. The chest that the other one I looked at had some strange, it looked like a mechanical device or something.
Probably nothing.
I don't know.
I'm looking at him and seeing if he looks like anything's on top of him or any kind of weirdness.
Yeah, no.
Okay. So
All
it
right.
seems like to be stable.
We don't have a thief with us. And what was in the second chest?
Some sort of mechanical device, and then the other chest I haven't checked yet.
Oh, there was a mechanical device in the chest.
Yeah.
I see. And now, okay.
Since we're running out of time, I'm going to frame the options here. Option 1, you can send him back one more time to check the other chest. Option 2, you can go with him to retrieve the device. You can, of course, tell him to get the device after he checks the first chest, if you prefer. So option 3 would be tell him to check the chest but not get the device.
I'll go with him. If you want to tell him to get the device, I'll go with him, and if something happens,
You're the only one with a cure. You're the only one with a cure
Well,
like you.
Caden has it, but
All
Yeah,
right,
Caden's
where?
the lump.
Okay.
I mean somebody else can go, but I'm volunteering.
Let's
Alright.
go. We'll go with Father Blumbad's plan then.
I'm gonna make it so you all can see what's going on in here, and I'm gonna do
yeah,
this
for the
by
map.
So he looted this one.
none and all, and give me dynamic lighting and go. Okay, so now you all should see what's in here. Okay, so he goes up and he says, "See," and he points in this, and there's this device. It's about this big, and there's something. It looks like it has like clockwork mechanisms, but they're steel. And then there's
This
containers.
where the trap is?
No, you sense the trap here.
Oh, okay, yeah, you're good to go there, friend.
To open this chest?
No, the one without the trap.
Okay, he's
That one's already open. It's got the device in.
He says, "You want me to get the device?"
Oh, here I'll go look at the device. Describe it to me.
It looks like a thing of metal cylinders and pipes. It has adjacent tubes or cylinders of some kind of liquid. It looks like it's pressurized, but it's static and it's not moving, and it seems like it has clockwork mechanisms.
Oh yeah. I don't think you should mess with that.
I'm gonna go and
Bring it back with us.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go get that.
I have a question. Just in general, we've been using lanterns or torches right now.
Lanterns, and you're
Okay,
still
because
got...
I have a torch I was going to light, but I'm not going to light a torch if we haven't lit a torch yet because I don't know about the air in this place. So,
All right, so Magnus, you go in here now, is what I'm hearing you say. No one's opened in this chest. What do you do with this thing?
That's the trap. I tell Magnus that's the trap.
Right. No, I'm just gonna take it.
You just pick it up?
Yeah.
All right.
Is it attached? It's not attached.
You take it, pick it up, and it sloshes. And then you realize it's really heavy. You can roll a d6. You do not want to get a 1.
A d6?
Yeah.
All right. Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye.
All right.
Hello.
You stabilize and you realize the liquids are connected by one of those Venturi things, right? Like a tube at the top. And but they're not exchanging, and you keep it stabilized, but it's very heavy.
Okay. Well, I do have a strength of 13, I think, or 14.
Yeah, you have the device. What do you do with it now?
Well, it's time to leave. That other chest, we don't have a thief.
I'm gonna roll 2d100 for the way in. Let's see what happens here. It's fine. And then 3d100 for the way out. All right, and then there's this might be it, and you're leaving the trapped one. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah, we don't want to risk it. We don't know.
We can bring Monacan with us next time, maybe. And we'll see.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was thinking we could smash the chest itself with a.
Yeah, but then if there's something valuable
Right,
inside,
yeah.
Friend with it. No, just kidding.
Or you can ask your friend to just open it.
He has more value than that.
Okay.
All right. So you take the device, and I don't usually do this, but I'm gonna say make an intelligence check. Is this just to speed things up? Because does that pass?
It's under 15, so does that? I'm going for.
You got to get over your saving throw number.
Oh, no.
So your saving throw is what?
15.
14, I think, at level 3.
And then you get a plus for your intelligence if it's an intelligence roll. Do you have any pluses on intelligence?
Well, my intelligence is 15. So.
Yeah,
You got
okay.
a plus 1.
All right, yeah.
So you got a 14 then.
You can tell Magnus that this device, the liquids in it could interface, and it's going to create some kind of reaction. You don't know what.
Right.
So you have to be very delicate with this, and even trying to bring it back by horseback could be very tenuous.
Okay. Is there any kind of valve system that's part of the device that I could shut off? In other words, like if I can tell that these liquids are meant to interact, then surely there's got to be something in it that can control the flow.
You take a dagger and you slowly dink, the venturi, the tube at the top, and you do that in 2 places, and then you take some cloth and you plug it so that it isolates the fluid. Now, the device as it is no longer functional, but it will not do whatever it was about to do.
Well, hold on.
I know we're out of time. That's why I'm moving really fast and
All
doing
right,
things. So, you all make it back to the lodge safely, except for one of you.
For
the
one
Barry.
of us.
Yeah. And
Were they asleep the entire time still?
yes, until until the time you make it back to the to your horses, and then they wake up, and it seems like they have no ill effect.
What happened?
And
Or Yuba.
that is,
Oh.
you all have survived, except for one of you. Trip into Rappan Athuk. That's the end of the session for that. Sorry, I went